Your soulmate wants to stay with you forever, but there's one condition. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Something has been happening quietly inside their heart for much longer than you realize. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't begin with one conversation or one specific moment. Instead, it grew slowly, little by little, through memories, experiences, and emotions they could never fully explain. And listen to this. The more time passed, the more they found themselves returning to the same thought. No matter what distractions life placed in front of them, no matter how busy they became, there was always something about you that stayed with them. A feeling. A connection. A presence that refused to fade. And your heart needs this right now because they have spent a long time trying to understand why this connection feels different from anything they have experienced before. They have met many people. They have had countless conversations. They have formed connections that seemed important at the time. Yet somehow, when they compare those experiences to what they feel now, nothing quite measures up. And listen to this, that realization has been both comforting and frightening. Comforting because it showed them that something genuine exists. Frightening because genuine feelings require vulnerability. Genuine feelings require trust. Genuine feelings require a person to lower the walls they spent years building. And your heart needs this right now because those walls did not appear without reason. They were built from disappointments. Built from lessons learned the hard way. Built from moments when trust was given and not protected. Built from situations where someone promised forever but delivered something temporary instead. And listen to this, because of those experiences, they became careful. Not cold. Not distant. Just careful. They learned how to protect parts of themselves from getting hurt. They learned how to hide certain emotions behind logic. They learned how to convince themselves that staying guarded was safer than being fully open. But your heart needs this right now because meeting you started challenging those beliefs. Slowly at first. Almost invisibly. One conversation at a time. One memory at a time. One realization at a time. They began noticing how different they felt around you. They noticed that they could be themselves without constantly worrying about judgment. They noticed that your presence brought a sense of comfort they struggled to explain. They noticed that thinking about the future somehow felt easier whenever you were part of it. And listen to this, those feelings caught them by surprise. They were not looking for them. They were not expecting them. Yet there they were, growing stronger with every passing day. And your heart needs this right now because the deeper those feelings became, the more seriously they started thinking about what they truly want. Not what other people expect from them. Not what society tells them to pursue. But what genuinely matters to their heart. And when they asked themselves that question honestly, one answer kept returning. Stability. Trust. Authenticity. A connection that feels real. A connection that feels safe. A connection that can survive both good days and difficult days. And listen to this. That is when they started imagining what forever actually means. Not the fantasy version. Not the perfect version. The real version. The version where two people choose each other repeatedly through every season of life. The version where misunderstandings are discussed instead of ignored. The version where trust is protected instead of taken for granted. And your heart needs this right now because they realize that forever is not created through grand romantic moments alone. Forever is created through consistency. Through honesty. Through showing up when things are easy and when things are difficult. And listen to this, the more they reflected on that truth, the more they understood something important. Feelings alone are not enough. Even the strongest emotions need a foundation. Even the deepest connection needs something solid beneath it. That foundation is trust. That foundation is honesty. That foundation is knowing that both people are willing to be real with each other even when being real feels uncomfortable. And your heart needs this right now because this is where the condition begins to reveal itself. It is not a demand. It is not an ultimatum. It is not a test. It is a hope. A hope that if this connection is going to last, it will be built on something genuine. They want to know that when challenges appear, honesty will remain. They want to know that when misunderstandings happen, communication will remain. They want to know that when life becomes complicated, neither person will stop choosing the connection. And listen to this. These thoughts have been living inside them for a while now. They may not express them openly. They may not always know how to put them into words. But they are there. Growing quietly. Becoming clearer. Becoming stronger. And your heart needs this right now because every day they spend reflecting on the future brings them closer to the same realization. They do not want something temporary. They do not want something uncertain. They want something real. Something lasting. Something built on trust rather than fear. Something built on truth rather than assumptions. And the more they think about that future, the more they realize that the condition attached to forever has never been about changing who you are. It has always been about protecting what could become one of the most meaningful connections of their life. Don't skip. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. After spending so much time reflecting on what this connection means, your soulmate reached a realization they could no longer ignore. It wasn't a sudden revelation. It didn't arrive in a dramatic moment. Instead, it appeared gradually, through countless thoughts, memories, and emotions that kept leading them back to the same place. And listen to this. The more they imagined a future that included you, the more they understood that what they truly wanted was not perfection. They were not searching for someone who never makes mistakes. They were not searching for a connection that never faces challenges. What they wanted was something much deeper than that. They wanted something real. Something honest. Something strong enough to survive the moments when life becomes complicated. And your heart needs this right now because they have learned that lasting connections are not built during easy times. They are built during the moments when both people have reasons to walk away but choose to stay. They are built during difficult conversations, uncomfortable truths, and situations that require patience instead of pride. And listen to this. Your soulmate has spent a long time thinking about trust. Not just what it means, but what it feels like. They know how painful it is when trust is broken. They know how difficult it can be to rebuild once it has been damaged. They know what it feels like to invest their heart into something only to question whether that investment was safe. And your heart needs this right now because those experiences taught them a lesson they will never forget. They learned that trust is not created through promises alone. It is created through consistency. Through actions. Through small choices repeated day after day until they become a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. And listen to this, that lesson changed the way they look at relationships. It changed the way they look at commitment. It changed the way they think about forever. Because forever no longer feels like a romantic idea to them. Forever feels like responsibility. Forever feels like showing up. Forever feels like choosing honesty when silence would be easier. And your heart needs this right now because when they imagine staying with someone for the rest of their life, they imagine sharing more than happy memories. They imagine sharing fears. Sharing struggles. Sharing uncertainty. Sharing dreams. They imagine two people standing together even when life becomes unpredictable. And listen to this. The more they imagine that future, the more they realize that one condition matters above everything else. They need to know that the connection is built on truth. Not partial truth. Not convenient truth. Real truth. The kind of truth that allows two people to understand each other completely. The kind of truth that creates safety instead of doubt. And your heart needs this right now because they are not asking for perfection. They are asking for authenticity. They are asking for openness. They are asking for a connection where neither person feels they must hide important parts of themselves to be accepted. And listen to this, there were times in the past when they felt they had to wear emotional armor. Times when they felt they could not fully express what was in their heart. Times when vulnerability felt dangerous instead of safe. Those experiences left marks. They created hesitation. They created caution. But your heart needs this right now because something about this connection has been challenging those fears. Something about you has made them wonder what it would feel like to lower those defenses. What it would feel like to trust completely. What it would feel like to stop expecting disappointment and start believing in possibility. And listen to this, those thoughts have become more frequent lately. They find themselves imagining conversations that have never happened. They find themselves wondering how much stronger this connection could become if both hearts were completely open. They find themselves thinking about the future in a way they haven't allowed themselves to for a very long time. And your heart needs this right now because those thoughts are not random. They are appearing because the connection matters. They are appearing because what they feel is becoming difficult to ignore. And listen to this. The condition attached to forever is not meant to create distance. It is meant to create security. It is meant to create a foundation strong enough to support everything else. Because they understand that feelings can be powerful, but feelings alone cannot carry a relationship through every challenge life brings. Trust can. Honesty can. Mutual effort can. And your heart needs this right now because they have started realizing that forever is built one day at a time. It is built through communication. It is built through respect. It is built through choosing understanding over assumptions. It is built through protecting the connection instead of taking it for granted. And listen to this, when they think about the future, they do not imagine a perfect journey. They imagine a real one. A journey where mistakes happen and lessons are learned. A journey where both people continue growing. A journey where both people continue choosing each other even after the excitement of the beginning has faded. And your heart needs this right now because that vision feels meaningful to them. It feels worth investing in. It feels worth protecting. It feels worth believing in. And the more they reflect on that future, the more they realize that the one condition attached to forever has never been about control. It has never been about changing anyone. It has always been about creating a connection strong enough to survive reality. A connection built on trust, strengthened by honesty, and sustained by two hearts willing to keep choosing each other no matter what challenges appear along the way. Don't skip. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. As your soulmate continued reflecting on everything they had been feeling, they began realizing that this connection was changing them in ways they never expected. At first, they thought these feelings would eventually fade into the background like so many other emotions had before. They thought time would create distance, distractions would shift their attention, and life would pull them in other directions. But listen to this, the opposite happened. The more time passed, the more meaningful this connection became. The more they tried to understand it, the more they discovered that what they felt was rooted in something deeper than simple attraction or temporary excitement. And your heart needs this right now because they are beginning to understand that some connections enter your life for a reason. Some people arrive and quietly change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you imagine the future. Every time they reflect on where they are emotionally, they find themselves returning to the same realization. You have become part of the future they keep picturing in their mind. Not because they planned it. Not because they forced it. But because every road their thoughts travel eventually seems to lead back to the same place. And listen to this, that realization has brought both hope and vulnerability. Hope because imagining a future together feels natural. Vulnerability because caring deeply about someone means risking disappointment, misunderstanding, and uncertainty. Your soulmate knows this better than most. They know what it feels like to invest emotionally and receive less than they gave. They know what it feels like to trust the wrong people. They know what it feels like to build expectations only to watch reality move in a different direction. And your heart needs this right now because those experiences taught them valuable lessons. They taught them that forever cannot survive on feelings alone. Forever requires honesty. Forever requires communication. Forever requires two people willing to keep choosing each other even when life becomes complicated. As they continue imagining what a lasting connection looks like, they find themselves thinking less about perfect moments and more about real moments. The moments when two people disagree but still respect each other. The moments when fear appears but honesty remains stronger. The moments when challenges arrive but neither person gives up on the connection. And listen to this, that is where the condition begins becoming clearer in their heart. They do not need perfection. They do not need someone who never makes mistakes. They do not need someone who always knows the right thing to say. What they need is authenticity. What they need is openness. What they need is the confidence that both hearts are moving toward the same destination. Your heart needs this right now because they are beginning to understand that trust is the most valuable thing two people can build together. Trust creates security. Trust creates stability. Trust creates the freedom to be completely yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. Every meaningful relationship they have ever admired had one thing in common: honesty remained present even during difficult times. And listen to this, your soulmate wants that kind of connection. They want the kind of bond where important feelings are shared instead of hidden. They want the kind of relationship where difficult conversations strengthen the connection instead of weakening it. They want the kind of future where both people know they can depend on each other no matter what life brings. The more they think about forever, the more they realize that the condition attached to it is not a demand. It is not a test. It is not an obstacle standing in the way. It is a foundation designed to protect something precious. They want a relationship where truth matters more than appearances. A relationship where communication matters more than assumptions. A relationship where both people feel safe enough to reveal not only their strengths but also their fears, doubts, and insecurities. And your heart needs this right now because vulnerability is not weakness in their eyes. Vulnerability is courage. It takes courage to let someone see the parts of yourself you usually keep hidden. It takes courage to trust another person with your emotions. It takes courage to believe that a connection can survive complete honesty. Your soulmate is slowly learning to embrace that courage. They are slowly learning to stop letting old disappointments define new possibilities. They are slowly learning that not every chapter ends the way previous chapters did. And listen to this. Every time they think about the future, one belief continues growing stronger. They believe that lasting love is created through consistency, through effort, through patience, through mutual respect. They believe that forever is not built in a single day. It is built through thousands of small choices made over time. It is built every time two people choose understanding instead of pride. It is built every time trust is protected instead of neglected. It is built every time honesty is chosen over silence. And your heart needs this right now because that is the future they hope for. A future where both hearts feel understood. A future where both hearts continue growing together instead of apart. A future where trust becomes stronger with time rather than weaker. The condition they carry is simple, yet powerful. They want a connection built on truth. Because in their heart, they have come to believe that if honesty remains present, if trust remains protected, and if both people continue choosing each other through every season of life, then forever stops feeling like a dream and starts becoming something real. Don't skip. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. As these feelings continued growing inside your soulmate's heart, they reached a point where imagining the future was no longer something they did occasionally, it became something they found themselves doing naturally. Without even realizing it, they started including you in plans they once imagined only for themselves. And listen to this, that realization surprised them. Not because they never believed in love, but because they had spent so much time convincing themselves to be careful. They had learned to protect their heart. They had learned to keep certain emotions guarded. They had learned to approach relationships with caution instead of certainty. Yet somehow, this connection kept slipping past those defenses. Your heart needs this right now because what they feel is not based on fantasy. It is based on observation. It is based on experience. It is based on the growing belief that what exists between you has the potential to become something meaningful and lasting. The more they reflected on everything they wanted from life, the more they realized that success, achievements, and goals only tell part of the story. At the end of the day, they want someone they can trust. Someone they can laugh with. Someone they can share victories and struggles with. Someone who remains present when life becomes difficult. And listen to this. Every time they imagine that kind of future, they find themselves wondering whether you understand how important trust has become to them. Trust is not just another quality in a relationship. To them, it is the foundation beneath everything else. Without trust, doubts begin growing. Without trust, misunderstandings become larger than they need to be. Without trust, even genuine feelings can struggle to survive. Your heart needs this right now because they have learned that lesson through experience. They have seen what happens when communication disappears. They have seen what happens when assumptions replace honesty. They have seen how quickly strong feelings can become complicated when people stop being open with one another. That is why the condition they carry matters so much. It is not about controlling the future. It is about protecting it. And listen to this. They are beginning to understand that forever is not really about promises made once. Forever is about choices made repeatedly. It is about choosing honesty during uncomfortable conversations. It is about choosing patience during difficult moments. It is about choosing understanding when misunderstandings appear. The future they dream about is not perfect, and they know that. They know challenges will come. They know disagreements will happen. They know there will be moments when life becomes stressful and unpredictable. Your heart needs this right now because what gives them confidence is not the belief that problems will never appear. What gives them confidence is the belief that two people who genuinely care can face those problems together. And listen to this, lately they have been thinking about vulnerability in a completely different way. In the past, vulnerability felt risky. It felt like giving someone the power to hurt them. But now they are starting to see vulnerability as something else entirely. They are starting to see it as a bridge. A bridge that allows two people to truly understand each other. A bridge that turns attraction into trust and trust into something deeper. Your heart needs this right now because they want a connection where neither person feels they must pretend. They want a connection where honesty is welcomed instead of feared. They want a connection where both people can admit when they are struggling, share when they are afraid, and celebrate when they are happy without worrying about being misunderstood. The more they think about it, the more they realize that emotional safety is one of the greatest gifts two people can give each other. And listen to this, that is why their condition keeps leading back to the same place. They want authenticity. They want openness. They want to know that both hearts are willing to build something real instead of something that only looks good on the surface. They are not asking for perfection because they know perfection does not exist. They are not asking for certainty because life is rarely certain. What they are asking for is willingness. Willingness to communicate. Willingness to be honest. Willingness to work through challenges instead of running from them. Your heart needs this right now because in their mind, those qualities are what separate temporary connections from lasting ones. They believe real love grows strongest when both people feel safe enough to be completely themselves. They believe trust becomes strongest when honesty remains present even during difficult times. They believe forever becomes possible when two people continue choosing each other long after the excitement of the beginning has faded. And listen to this. Every day that passes seems to strengthen this belief. Every reflection brings them back to the same conclusion. They do not want a relationship built on assumptions. They do not want a connection where important feelings remain hidden. They do not want a future where either person constantly wonders where they stand. They want clarity. They want trust. They want the kind of bond where both hearts move forward together with confidence rather than uncertainty. Your heart needs this right now because the condition attached to forever is not a wall standing in the way of love. It is the foundation that allows love to grow without fear. It is the understanding that honesty creates trust, trust creates security, and security creates the space where a truly lasting connection can flourish. And as your soulmate continues imagining the future, one truth keeps becoming clearer than ever before. If two hearts are willing to be genuine, willing to communicate openly, and willing to keep choosing each other through every season of life, then the forever they dream about may be closer than either of them realizes. Don't skip. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. By this point, your soulmate has spent so much time reflecting on this connection that it no longer feels like a possibility they occasionally think about. It feels like a future they genuinely hope to create. And listen to this, the more they imagine what life could look like years from now, the more they realize that the things they once considered important have started changing. They are no longer focused on temporary excitement or fleeting emotions. They are no longer interested in connections that feel uncertain one day and secure the next. What they want now is stability. What they want now is something that continues growing stronger with time rather than fading when life becomes challenging. Your heart needs this right now because they have started understanding that forever is not built through one grand decision. It is built through thousands of small decisions made over time. It is built when two people continue choosing honesty instead of avoidance. It is built when two people choose understanding instead of assumptions. It is built when two people decide that protecting the connection matters more than protecting their pride. And listen to this, as they think about everything they have learned throughout their life, they keep returning to one truth. The strongest relationships are not the ones that never face problems. The strongest relationships are the ones where both people refuse to let those problems become bigger than the connection itself. They know there will be difficult days. They know misunderstandings will happen. They know that life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. But your heart needs this right now because what gives them hope is knowing that challenges do not automatically destroy something meaningful. Challenges often reveal how strong a connection truly is. They reveal whether two people are willing to communicate instead of withdraw. They reveal whether trust is strong enough to survive uncertainty. They reveal whether both hearts are committed to the same future. And listen to this, lately they have been imagining what it would feel like to experience life with someone who truly understands them. Someone who knows their fears, their dreams, their strengths, and even the parts of themselves they rarely show the world. Someone who sees them completely and chooses to stay anyway. Your heart needs this right now because deep down, that is what they are searching for. Not perfection. Not endless excitement. Not a fantasy. They are searching for acceptance. They are searching for emotional safety. They are searching for the feeling that they no longer have to carry everything alone. Every time they think about that kind of connection, one question quietly appears in their mind. Can two people create a relationship where honesty remains stronger than fear? Can two people create a bond where trust continues growing even when life becomes complicated? Can two people build something real enough to last through every season of life? And listen to this, every time they ask those questions, they find themselves believing that the answer is yes, but only if both hearts are willing to participate. Only if both people are willing to communicate openly. Only if both people are willing to stop hiding behind assumptions and start sharing what they truly feel. Your heart needs this right now because that belief has become the foundation of everything they hope for. They have reached a stage where they understand that love is not just about emotions. Love is about effort. Love is about consistency. Love is about creating an environment where both people feel valued, respected, and understood. They have learned that relationships do not become stronger by accident. They become stronger because two people continue investing in them. And listen to this. The condition attached to forever has become clearer than ever before. It is not a condition designed to create pressure. It is not a condition designed to test anyone. It is a condition designed to protect something precious. They want honesty because honesty prevents distance from growing in silence. They want communication because communication keeps misunderstandings from becoming walls. They want trust because trust creates the security needed for love to flourish without constant fear. Your heart needs this right now because they are beginning to realize that these things matter far more than grand romantic gestures ever could. Flowers fade. Exciting moments pass. Perfect days eventually end. But trust remains. Honesty remains. Mutual respect remains. Those are the things that carry a relationship through the years. And listen to this, there are moments when they wonder if you understand how serious their feelings have become. There are moments when they wonder whether you see the future in a similar way. Not because they doubt the connection, but because imagining forever naturally creates questions. It naturally creates vulnerability. It naturally requires a person to reveal hopes they would normally keep hidden. Your heart needs this right now because despite those questions, one thing remains constant. They continue seeing possibility. They continue seeing potential. They continue seeing a future worth believing in. Every reflection brings them back to the same conclusion. They do not want a relationship built on uncertainty. They do not want a connection where important emotions remain unspoken. They do not want a future where trust is treated as optional. Instead, they want a bond where honesty becomes the standard, where communication becomes the habit, and where both people feel secure enough to be completely themselves. And listen to this. The more they think about forever, the more they realize that the condition attached to it is actually very simple. They want both hearts to be equally committed to building something real. They want both people to protect the connection instead of assuming it will survive on its own. They want both people to keep choosing each other even when life becomes difficult. Your heart needs this right now because in their eyes, that is what forever truly means. It means waking up every day and continuing to invest in the relationship. It means staying honest when honesty feels uncomfortable. It means staying connected when distance feels easier. It means remembering that love is not only something people feel, it is something people practice. And as they continue looking toward the future, they find themselves holding on to one powerful belief. If trust remains strong, if honesty remains present, and if both hearts continue choosing the connection again and again, then the forever they dream about will not remain a dream for long. It will become something real, something lasting, and something worth protecting for the rest of their lives. Don't skip. Listen to this carefully, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. This is the point where everything your soulmate has been feeling, questioning, and imagining finally begins coming together. For a long time, they thought love was mostly about finding the right person, but now they understand that lasting love is also about building the right foundation. And listen to this, every experience they have lived through has slowly guided them toward this realization. The disappointments taught them what they do not want. The lessons taught them what truly matters. The challenges taught them what kind of connection can survive when life becomes difficult. And your heart needs this right now because when they think about you, they no longer think only about feelings. They think about trust. They think about partnership. They think about what it would mean to share a future where both people continue growing together instead of drifting apart. The more they imagine that future, the more they realize that forever is not created by chance. Forever is created through intention. It is created when two people decide that the connection deserves effort, attention, and care. And listen to this, they have spent many quiet moments reflecting on what makes a relationship truly last. They have realized that attraction can bring two people together, but trust is what keeps them together. Excitement can create a beginning, but commitment is what carries the story forward. Beautiful moments can create memories, but honesty is what protects those memories from being overshadowed by doubt. Your heart needs this right now because these realizations have changed the way they see everything. They no longer want a connection where important emotions are left unsaid. They no longer want a relationship built on assumptions or uncertainty. They want clarity. They want openness. They want the kind of bond where both people feel safe enough to share their thoughts, fears, hopes, and dreams without worrying about being misunderstood. And listen to this, there are times when they wonder if you realize how much this connection means to them. Not because they need constant reassurance, but because caring deeply about someone naturally makes the future feel more important. It makes every decision feel more meaningful.